What up, Winbush here. And today's the day. It is here. It is finally here. I know you all been waiting for this a very long time, but Unreal Engine Motion Design, aka Project Avalanche, is ready for download right now. You can go to the Epic Games launcher. You can download Unreal Engine 5.4, and including in that will be Unreal Engine Motion Design. And now, as we speak, I'm actually on an airplane flying up to GDC, but before I left, I just knew I had to get this video out to you guys so you could get started with Unreal Motion Design. So as you download 5.4, this is what it's going to look like right here, like your typical Unreal Engine. But what you want to do first is actually come up here to where it says edit, and you want to come down here to plugins. Now if you type in motion, you're going to see this right here, Motion Design Experimental. So you want to make sure this is turned on, and then it's going to ask you to restart, which is typical when we enable a plugin. So I'm just going to hit yes, and then I'm going to restart. Now, once you have it restarted, up here in the left-hand corner where it has selection mode, you want to select this, and then you're going to come down here to Motion Design. Now, once you click on this, you'll see this pop up on your left-hand side, but this isn't the only thing that you need to activate. Now, if you look over here, you actually see that we have this tab here called Motion Design. So if I left click on this, this is now going to bring you into Project Avalanche, aka Motion Design. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is over here on the right-hand side, you have your typical outliner, which we're used to just working in Unreal Engine 5.4, but then we have this other outliner that's actually built out for motion design. So this is going to be a little bit more organized and keep it in a stack, kind of like we're used to in Photoshop, but this is going to be what we want to use for motion design. And then down here, we also have the sequencer that automatically pops up and the remote control if you're going to be broadcasting stuff out live. Now, as I said, I am actually flying to GDC today. So once I get back, I'll be doing full tutorials along with the full course to get you guys started. But I wanted to put this video just to get you guys acclimated with some of the stuff that you could do. So I do have some of the previews that we have built out inside the beta. Shout out to Andy Blondin that built all these out. But if you look right now, we have a cloner and it's actually being affected by these effectors over here. So I'm going to come over here into my motion outliner. And you can see we have a noise effector in here. And it's just colliding with this cloner that we have in here. Now, if I come up here and I'm going to click on frames per second, you can see that we're getting a solid 120 frames per second inside the viewport. If I pop out of my camera here, we could just navigate around here inside of my scene. And you can see that everything is really reactive. Now, like I said, this is all just happening inside the viewport, which is really dope. But let's look at some other examples that Andy had actually built out for the beta. Now this one here has me really excited because this looks exactly like something you would build out in After Effects, right? So we have the 2D text, we have some cool gradients going on in the background, we have basic shapes coming through, and you can see this playing at like a sporting events or something broadcast worthy, right? If I look down here, inside of the sequencer, you can see it's actually really cleaned up for us right here. Now this is a 5.4 update, but this is looking really nice and clean. And then if I look over here on my right hand side, under titles, let me actually stop this and pull down my sequencer a little bit. You can see that we actually have titles in here too. So if I come down here in my details panel, you can see now we actually are able to change out the fonts here as well, which is really, really dope. This is something that we've been asking for a long time, but this is something similar to After Effects or Photoshop or even Cinema 4D, where you could just go through and change out your fonts right here. Now this is rated out for your system. So whatever you have activated, that's what it's changing out here. And then down here as well, you could do bold. This is doing the background here, but this is just typical of what you would see inside of your applications now. And then your text, you can actually change this out right here as well. So these motion design tools are actually laid out really, really nicely for anybody in motion graphics. And talking about 2D stuff down here, if I come down here to the sequencer, you can actually see that we have our folder. Now they added this, I think, in 5.3, but this really helps out for motion graphics artists. As you can see, it's actually folded into the stack. So everything here is actually laid out inside the sequencer. You can select anything that you want, put them in folders. So it's all just really organized. You don't have to do pre-comps like in other programs. You just click add folder. You can actually organize everything in a folder structure, which really helps out. This is something I was really looking forward to, that I was most excited about. Now, another thing that I thought was really dope is we now have the ability to bring in vector files into Unreal Engine, and we can actually extrude them out. Now, you can't bring in Illustrator files per se, but if you export out as an SVG, you can import those, bevel those, and actually animate your layer stacks out, in which of course I'll do a tutorial on once I get back. But just for preview sake, this is something again Andy had built out. 76ers, you can see this is just built off a vector file here. So you're able to extrude the stack, you can offset it, you can animate it. If you look over here inside of your motion outliner, you can see that we have the SVG file, and that's it. You don't have anything else in there. This is just a vector file that you're able to offset and animate. You can see right here, we have the SVG data. So if you actually want to swap it out, you're able to do that as well. Render mode 3D, or you could do 2D mode down here. And there's a whole plethora of different attributes down here to play with. You can see we could do bevel distance. You can feel the extrusion, a whole lot of cool stuff that you could do right here. Now, I know this is another thing people are asking for, but we're able to actually animate just using forces. So if I come down here and I slide through the timeline, you can see that this is all being just automatically generated by forces there. So these aren't keyframed or anything. These are just naturally moving by the effector noise in there. And this is really cool. So if you're doing like a live broadcast and you just want some background elements, this is all running real time inside of Unreal Engine. If I come through frames per second, you can see again, I'm getting about a solid 90 to 100. I'm working on a 4090 here. But this is just something that's playing through. So you can actually play this live if you want, or you can render this out if you wanted to. And then the last example I'm going to show you, you can actually use audio waves with the cloner, which is really dope. So if I play through here, you can see that we have our sound wave, and that's the only thing. So you just have an audio file in here, and that's what's driving the force in here to go with the cloner, which we've seen in other applications, but it's really cool to see it actually happen here inside of Unreal Engine with the motion design tools. So as you can see, Motion Designer is really powerful. I mean, having the cloners in there alone, being able to do 2D type style animations. I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff that we could dive into. Make sure you keep this channel unlocked, because I will be doing a full tutorial series on how to get acclimated with everything in there. So get in there, play around with it, let me know what you think. And then of course, once I get back from GDC, of course, I'm going to have a whole plethora of education tutorials to get you guys started so you can be experts in no time. So once again, my name is Jonathan Winbush. Subscribe if you're new, and until next time, stay fresh, keep creating, and I'll catch you in the next video. I'll see you soon. Take care.